All right, this is an update on the AllTrac or GT4 in the rest of the world. I have about 600 miles on the engine swap now. It's come a long way. I've owned the car for 3 years now, and it is night and day difference compared to how I got it. Obviously, as a roller, pretty much as a non-runner. I'll talk about the outside first. First, you see the CS or RC front bumper. That is an OEM piece. It took a lot of work to find all the pieces to make that fit. Front grille, that's from Lucas in Poland. Appreciate you making that. It really finishes it off. And there's some other pieces on her side to make it all fit. Got the carbon fiber front scoop. That's from Carbon Microsystems. The stock one was all chopped up and I couldn't find a stock unit anywhere, so splurged on that. Obviously you see the hood paint's all faded. This car was sitting outside for probably at least 5 years in its life, baking in Daytona, Ohio sun. Most of the clear coat's all gone, anything on top. Carbon Microsystems roof plug. Sunroof was a disaster. I have another video on YouTube of that, fixing that mess, but ultimately it gives me more headroom on the inside as well. There is like no serious rust on this car, aside from this spot right there, bubbling up. Probably cut it out eventually and patch it if I feel like it, if it gets worse. But yeah. I have Koki taillights that are finishing the centerpiece right now, so I'll be changing that out. These are the fancier Rally Sport mud flaps. They're supposed to be pretty durable. We'll see about that. I just put them in through the stock fenders. Hopefully that's acceptable. It hasn't had any issues yet. I did take the car to a Detroit SCCA Rally Cross, which was all tarmac. It did very well. I had my friend race with me. Did 4 back-to-back heats, no temperature issues or anything like that. Braid wheels. They're 17 by 8s. I have about a 245. Just Indy 500s on them. They do really good for just street driving. I've been driving this car every day. Pretty much I'm driving it to work, grocery shopping, and everything. I haven't had any serious issues with it. Talk about under the hood now. So the Gen 2 I spent countless hours on trying to get it to run right, and ultimately I got frustrated enough to buy a imported JDM engine. This is the Caldina out of an ST215. Ultimately, I picked this 215 over a Gen 5 because you didn't need to get rid of the immobilizer on the ECU, and the side feed intake manifold supposedly clears better than the Gen 5 on these AllTracs or GT4s. It's all stock. I rebuilt everything. It was a tarred mess when I got it. The importer didn't really give a shit, obviously, which seems to be the common theme with those importers. So the head was redone, new seals, got a tire gasket kit from Japan, new piston rings. It's all stock bottom end still, so no Ford stuff. Turbo needs to be rebuilt. It's currently burning off oil. It was a nasty mess too. I bought a new one I got one rebuilt. Had that sent to CT Turbo in California. Or PT Turbo, excuse me, and it's just a stock CT15B. Not in love with my intercooler piping routing, but it works. It's quite functional. I had a local fab company make a nice bracket for my intercooler in the front there, as opposed to a top mount. That's a Treadstone TR6, I believe. It's good for over 400 horsepower, so more than enough for this thing. Yeah, I looked forever for a stock airbox for I'd like to have a Caldina one or an ST215 or 205, but I had no luck, so I ended up just making a nice simple pipe here with an AEM dry filter and a Somehow I ended up with a dry filter that's too short. Runs good though. This runs light years better than the Gen 2. Just smoother and has more modern electronics, obviously, with a real PCV system. I actually have a blow-off valve, or not a true blow-off valve, but a returned plumb back into the intake. I'm old, so I don't want to hear too much turbo noises. Yeah, I can't say enough nice things about how this runs in comparison to the Gen 2. Mishimoto radiator, again, that pretty much, the radiator that came with this car had a hole in it from something rubbing through it, and I had to flush that a bazillion times because it was filled with nastiness from the other block from sitting outside for who knows how long with probably water in it. I got Brooks racing mounts on this side. I ended up taking the one out over here. The NVH is ridiculous, and with this I really need to take this one out and drill holes in it. The NVH is still pretty bad in the interior. I bet for whatever reason I got a solid one from him, and it seems like the ones that he sells has some holes drilled in it. So put that on the to-do list of minor annoyances. I'll talk about the interior next. Interior, I pulled this from the parts car that I bought. See, the driver's seat looks like shit. This carpet was filled with rat shit and everything else when I got this car, because the sunroof was open and there was holes in the firewall and everything else. So it's no award winner on the inside, but it's pretty clean. I haven't even really washed it. I just put it all together, deleted the rear seat belts because nobody wants to sit back there. Just keep it for sound deadening. Most importantly, got a nice Momo on here. I need to fix this, but I think I'm going to end up getting rid of the auto steering column tilt and put a stock Celica manual tilt on. The auto one's stupid, in my opinion. Gauges, those are all speed HUD on the left, and the stack gauge on the right for the tachometer. The stock cluster is a piece of garbage, in my opinion, and kept fixing it. I think it's ultimately a piece of garbage, so I put all new stuff in there that I built. Put stack gauges down there, keep on eye on boost. Oil temps hooked up. I haven't hooked up oil pressure yet. I was going to hook up a oil cooler, but I haven't had any temperature issues even when we were running rally back to back. I think I only saw 220 at the most when I was watching it. I think that's a Torque Solutions shift knob. Everybody calls it the light bulb. I quite like it. So that works pretty good. E-brake works now. Shifter works now. I guess I should talk about the driveline since I talked about the shifter. While I had everything apart, we put the gearing from the RC model, or the Group A spec homologation car. It's shorter than the stock, which was stupid long. I don't fully understand why you need gearing that long on a 200 horsepower car. And honestly, this is not short, in my opinion. This is how it should be. With these tires and this setup, rev limiter I hit about 60 miles an hour in second. So that's plenty long for me with this. I could honestly stand shorter gearing with whatever 260 crank horsepower or whatever this comes with. The rear diff is also Group A. The RC model, I imported it from Japan. Had that all rebuilt with new bearings and seals, all Toyota spec. It has plenty of grip. Even with these mediocre 340 treadwear tires, I have no problems at all with grip especially on the street. Even on the track, you got to be doing something really stupid to break traction on that at less than 60 miles an hour. So I'll pop the trunk too. Trunk carpet's all there. Hatch is really nice. Put the battery in the trunk. Got an Odyssey. This is a PC 925. More than enough power to crank this over. Got a little shut off there. It's lighter. Put it in this corner for weight balance, and it saves room in my engine bay. That's pretty much the overview of the car. I got rid of most of the System 10 speakers. The amp wasn't in this car. didn't have a radio. There was no dashboard. Everything was torn apart in this car when I got it. It was a mess. So I ended up just keeping the 2 front speakers and bypassed the stock amp wiring and kind of chopped that up. Brakes and suspension, I'm running the K-Sport RRs, which is the, or is it RR? Well, it's whatever, the gravel spec, GRs. They are very stiff for the street. I have them on full soft right now, and I'd still say they're probably a little too stiff. Probably should get different spring rates, but you know, if I'm going to be abusing it on rally, we'll see how they hold up. Brakes, I'm running G-Lock R6 on all 4 corners. Awesome pads. They're dusty as shit, as you can see. These front wheels are horrible, but they brake great. Have awesome pedal feel. So yeah, got a few updates to do on the car still, but I'm getting a lot closer. I really want to do something with the paint in the outside. Get the Koki taillights on. Got these carbon microsystem mirrors too. And fix the NVH from those mounts. Alignment, some bullshit alignment me and my buddy did. It tracks straight, but I don't think it's anything more than a half-assed motorsport spec. So I'll do another update once I have a few more, maybe another year or so on it.